Use your God power. Get everything you ever wanted and live the life of your dreams. The Master's Course. Copyright 2010 by Richard Lee McKim Jr. All rights reserved. Let the quest for knowing begin. Name 3 world problems. Give this some serious thought. Name 3 serious world problems that we need to address as a world population or even as a nation. Take a moment right now and get at least a couple in mind before you continue. Now that you have decided on them, I will tell you that there are no world problems and no problems at any level. If you were to put on some special eyeglasses where you could see things as they really are, you would see everything on Earth and Earth itself as a swirling, massive, transparent energy. View it from space. You could see right through it like glass. It would look like the wavy heat coming off a hot Florida asphalt road. Using this view, let's try to fix these world problems. What shall we do first? Shall we move some of that swirling energy at the surface of the energy mass and kind of swish it over to the side over there? What do you have in mind? If this were a fantasy island, when you arrived there would be some really big disaster that needs your immediate attention to resolve. But as soon as you left, the problem would have vanished because it never really existed in the first place. The problem was only manifested for you because you wanted something to do, something to worry about, or something to fix. You can easily see from this view of reality that nothing is going wrong. It's just circumstantial energy potential interacting with all the different resonant situations around the globe, like the situation with the young man and the gift of money. Everything on Earth and throughout the universe is in a symbiotic relationship. Each serves the other in some way. Because we have an environmental problem, we have people who love to figure out ways to help the environment. If we didn't have the problem, these people wouldn't get to do the thing that they love. Doctors not only love helping people, but also make a living at it. So if people didn't get sick, there wouldn't be a job for doctors. War serves more people than you can imagine. There are those in the government who love to plan the strategy. There are those who get to design and build war machines and equipment, and those who love to run around in the trenches shooting each other. If that wasn't fun, we wouldn't have played cowboys and Indians or war games with our cap guns as kids. These are all camp activities here on Camp Earth. We are all energy beings playing physical games. Part of the fun of this camp is the realism that we get through our immersion. When we are still in our non-physical state, we know everything. There isn't anything that we can't know just by thinking about it. We didn't emerge into this physical experience to get anything done. We came here to have a physical experience. Even though we knew in the non-physical what a physical experience was, there's a big difference between knowing what it is and getting to experience it. That would be like the difference between knowing about the Wild West and actually being there in the Wild West, walking the streets with your horse and your trusty rifle at your side. The experience is 1,000,000 times more exciting and fun than just knowing about it. So when we arrived in the physical, we became immersed in our physical experience character with the express purpose of having total realism. In order to experience a totally realistic physical human experience, we had to limit our knowledge and abilities to just what a physical human has, no more and no less. It would be like playing a part in a movie as a character in the old Wild West. Your character wouldn't arrive knowing about jet airplanes and microwaves and cell phones. He would only know about horses and stagecoaches. That would be complete immersion to play the part in the Old West setting. The only other difference with immersion is that the character in the Wild West wouldn't even be aware that he was playing a part. He would think that he is actually that person in that time with those real Wild West problems and opportunities. Complete and total realism. That's immersion. Another way to really get the concept of immersion is thinking about a Halloween costume. You can put on a costume with a mask, and even though people who see you on the outside may be fooled by your disguise, you aren't. You don't truly feel like the person you are pretending to be. When you reach the point where you truly believe that you are the person that you are portraying, you have reached the state of immersion. Immersion is a wonderful state of intense focus. When one is in a state of intense focus, he may be considered immersed in the projects or thoughts where nothing else is thought of or even comes to mind. It is a highly focused concentration on a narrow range of thoughts or work or even play. Our experience in this physical universe, in this thing we call life, is a wonderful state of complete and absolute immersion. This life immersion is created by what we don't know, that we don't know, and as strange as it may sound, we are further immersed by what we do know. Actually, the more we know, for the most part, the deeper we are thrust into our immersion. But how does something that you know lead to immersion? For instance, to know about gravity and the laws of physics is to discount and not believe anything that doesn't conform and abide by these laws. If you do know that lead cannot be turned into gold, any thoughts along that line are automatically blocked out as non-relevant and of no use or not worth thinking about. So all things that you know can't be are automatically blocked out and lead to a more focused attention and thoughts on what can be and what you are aware of. That is immersion, the narrowing down of everything in the universe to just a small range of consideration and relevance to your human incarnation. It thereby leads to a seemingly productive and satisfying result due to the appropriate focus on only the relevant. There's nothing bad or wrong about the state of immersion. It's the grand design for this physical experience. It is a perfect state of consciousness to have a very satisfyingly focused physical experience without unnecessary thoughts directed to questions such as what form will you take today, or whether your car will stay on the ground, or if a project that you are working on will disappear, or the surprise party that you're planning has already been ruined because everyone can read your mind. Immersion gives you some boundaries that are comfortable to abide by. To fully understand the concept of immersion, just consider the animal kingdom. They are even more fully immersed in their experience than we are as humans. For the most part, they only think of surviving, feeding, and breeding. They are not bothered with thoughts like, what is the meaning of life? Is there life on other planets? How exactly does our body work, and what kind of internal organs do we have? They have not tried to figure out electricity or why things fall. They have not complicated their day-to-day existence by developing a system of trade and a system of money to exchange for goods and services with other animals. Their way of life is quite focused and immersed to a high degree. Again, there is nothing wrong with this great plan of nature. It facilitates a very satisfying physical experience as each form of life is naturally immersed in their type of experience perfectly. However, immersion, or should I say total immersion, is not for everybody. For those who want to expand their experience to include superhuman abilities and travel to other dimensions and all the other feats that are only a thought away, immersion is only the starting place and not a lifelong boundary. For those individuals, the first step is enlightenment, which is the shedding of light on new areas and ideas which you didn't know that you didn't know. When you don't know that you don't know, you don't even know others who do know. You are not only unaware of the information itself, but you are unaware of those who know the information, even if they are your neighbors. The subject just never comes up. But once you begin to become aware of these other areas of knowing outside the normal boundaries of your immersion, you start seeing and learning things that were always there, but you just didn't notice and couldn't see them before. How far do you want to go? That is a personal decision, and it's all up to you.
To continue, go to How to Use Your God Power, Chapter number 2, Segment number 3. Let your quest for knowing continue.